Hello friends, welcome to the channel. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it, and I imagine the thumbnail or the title caught your attention, so I wrote them down because you're supposed to do that before you film the video. I don't always do it, but the thumbnail I think is going to say what changed in Q4, which is short for quarter four, and the title is going to be How Chasing Impossible Goals Changed My Life in 3 months. So let's talk about that, but first let me introduce myself. I'm Chip. This channel is CP59 Fit, carnivore and healthy coach, I think is what it says. No, carnivore and lifestyle coach. It probably should say healthy. In fact, I changed that last night or today after speaking with a Proctor Gallagher Institute consultant last night who was in my Rapid Transformation Challenge, and she said life coach is kind of something that people's eyes glaze over when they hear the word, so she thought I should probably stick to my niche or niche or however you say it, and I think she's right for this channel. I may do more of the lifestyle stuff on the other channel, or life coaching, I guess, on Chillin' with CP59 Fit. But I think I want to go into, I've always wanted to be a mentor, and I've had opportunities through the years. I just don't have anybody right now that's asking for my advice. You may see me looking around a bit. I'm in a Jefferson County Memorial Park in Charlestown, West Virginia. I was very impressed with the neighborhood when I drove in, but there are, as in any kind of park, there can be some characters you want to keep an eye on. I mean, with a park background, park management degree, I'm aware that anybody comes to a park, they may be having problems, and you don't want to be unaware of your circumstances. Situational awareness is always beneficial. Why am I in Charlestown? Because I tried to film this on the screened-in porch, but the sun was in front of the house, so it was too dark. Went to the front of the house, the big jet, Air Force jet was taken off. The little jets or little airplanes, propellers were taken off. So I went to a park in Martinsburg, which turned out to be a Little League park, so baseball fields and tennis courts, but no benches, no pavilions that I could find. I didn't get out and walk around. So, and then Ruby Tuesdays had sent me an email that cheeseburgers were $5.99 today, so the Ruby Tuesdays is here in Charlestown. I think I'll go get a cheeseburger, cheap cheeseburger, after this. I don't think the fries or the buns will be on my way of eating, but you know, like I said in the last thing, there's certain things you might want to allow during the holidays that you wouldn't allow otherwise. But that's not the topic of this conversation. So anyway, and I don't have notes today, but I am going to try to tell you why I haven't been filming and what's been going on and how my thought process has changed over the last 3 or 4 months without kicking the tripod here that the camera is sitting on. I like this park. I might come back here more. It's a nice pavilion here. There's a hill, so I don't have road noise. Oh, that's the other thing. I stopped by a walking trail park along Route 9, coming here thinking, oh, well, I'm gonna go all the way. But then the highway traffic was too loud and the wind was too loud, so hopefully you can hear me fine. You can definitely see me. The sun is flashing or shining on my face very brightly, which is okay because I have an interview tomorrow and I want to have that natural glow. One thing that has changed, it wasn't exactly what I planned to talk about, but I did join a gym in Martinsburg Sunday, and I was able to go yesterday, enjoy the hot tub, the hydro massage, the red light therapy, and the tanning, stand-up tanning booth. What are the main things I look at in a gym? And I also, I think it was yesterday I had a Smart Start training meeting with the trainer. No real session. All he did was spew out, you know, his philosophy and tell me that, you know, you're not going to make progress what you're doing. You got to do cardio. No, you don't. So, but you want me to tell you about cardio? I said, yeah, sure, go ahead and tell me. So he wrote the same formula that I knew 20 years ago when I had a trainer. Nothing against him. That's just, trainers are sort of kind of like medical professionals in that the teaching is the same everywhere. And he said he was almost my age, so he understood the challenges with people in their late 50s, early 60s. I'm probably not going to take his advice on cardio, although movement is not bad. You know, I've gone through this whole last year or two trying to lose weight without a lot of exercise. Getting the jobs at Costco and Sheetz did add a lot more walking. Oh, there's people on the tennis courts now, so I hear the ball being hit. Anyway, I walked a lot more there than I had, and I honestly think walking or sprinting are better than steady state cardio. In fact, Dr. McGuff in the book Body by Science even mentioned that kind of the whole aerobic craze, aerobics, there is no such thing as aerobics. You can either be aerobic or non-aerobic, but they came up with the name aerobics to get people into gyms, and he has even questioned if that type of exercise is beneficial or harmful. And he's the doctor that wrote the Body by Science book, so I have a lot of faith in him. And I am planning to get back into my Body by Science weekly like I'm supposed to. But anyway, that gym had a in-body scanner, which is a machine you stand on barefoot, has metal plates, and it has, oh goodness gracious, saved. Don't have Diet Mountain Dew all over the pavilion, just a few drops. Anyway, I better put that back on the paper so it doesn't blow away. I did not bring the in-body scan. Oh, I forgot to tell you. You stand with your arms out, and there's thumb things you put, also metal. It sends a mild electric flow through your body to measure how much water you have, how much fat mass you have, how much lean mass you have. It doesn't measure the bone, so that was a little difficult to compare to my previous two tests on DEXA scan and StykeU, but I did the best I could. I didn't bring the form because I'll probably do a whole video on that later. But everything I'm concerned about, body mass index, body fat, weight and percent, also goes with lean mass, weight and percent. Everything went in the right directions. It's been about a year, I think it was October of 23, that I had the last StykeU, which had gone down from the DEXA, which I had in 2022 when I was back in Texas. So things are continuing slowly to move in the right direction, but I think slowly is really what I'm kind of after at this point. Which, let me tell you about what my impossible goal for Q4 was. If you've watched anything recently, I did mention that I signed up for Dr. Hardy's Q4 Rapid Transformation Challenge, which actually I signed up in the middle of September, so we had like 3 bonus videos, which anybody in the group can watch. And he's made a community page, which is kind of like a Facebook on Kajabi, which is a app that a lot of influencers use to allow their groups to get their stuff for a fee, of course. But he opened up this community, and I haven't been real active on it. I probably should now that we're down to 2 weeks. But I had interacted with a lady. I think I mentioned it earlier. She's a Bob Proctor Gallagher Institute, or that may have been on the last clip that I had to delete anyway. I don't know. I'll just say it again if I have said it. When you have to make continual takes, you forget what you said on this one and what may have been mentioned in the last one. But anyway, Proctor Gallagher Institute is an institute started by Bob Proctor, who wrote You Were Born Rich and Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life, which are 2 books I've been studying these 3 months. And he also mentioned that he got wealthy by studying Think and Go Rich by Napoleon Hill, who was actually encouraged by Andrew Carnegie to study. He would introduce him to people like Edison, Ford, Graham, all the wealthy elite of that era, which was right around the Depression, early 1900s. He did all this study of wealthy people. I'll call them millionaires. I don't know if there were billionaires in the recession 100 years ago. There may have been. But anyway, then his goal was to figure out the kind of like the common threads through all of their lives and how thinking got them rich, which has taken me down a rabbit hole I'll get to that in a moment. Let me get back to the community on Kajabi. I had corresponded through the messenger with a lady who's a Proctor Gallagher Institute consultant, and she graciously said, "You want to have a Zoom about it?" So we did last night, and that gets into more of the rabbit hole I've been down because I wanted her opinion on it. And I think I did mention her because she's the one who told me that I probably should keep this channel more in the carnivore area, and I think that was in this take. But anyway, let me talk about that rabbit hole because I think that's a lot of what has really changed me and moved me forward over the last 3 months. Dr. Hardy was a big portion of that because I got to Bob Proctor from a book he recommended, not the actual book, but the author. I use an app called Hoopla, which is free through the library system in the county where I have my permanent residence, which is where my father lives. I have a library card there, and they offer this thing. It's kind of like Audible, except you can have ebooks or audiobooks. I've never used Audible, so I don't really know if it's like it or not, but I call it Audible sometimes because it allows you to listen to books. And I looked up that author, and that 80-20 book was not on there, but there was another book that said the 80-20 principle, but plus like 95 other laws or rules that you got to follow to implement it. And then when that ended, Hoopla recommended Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life by Bob Proctor, which in that I learned that he had been following Think and Grow Rich, which is what set him from at 26 being not underemployed, I guess is the word, to a millionaire in a couple of years at most. And I thought, well, I've read Think and Grow Rich in the past. I probably have a copy of it, but let's see if it's on Hoopla, and it is. So I've been kind of having on loop Think and Grow Rich, Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life, You Were Born Rich, which is what Bob Proctor also mentioned. You can get it free on the Proctor Gallagher Institute website. You can download an ebook there, so you got to read it. I prefer to listen to it when I'm driving everywhere, especially when I had an hour drive to work and back. But all of this, I credit to Dr. Hardy because he set me on the path to go down the rabbit hole. Well, the real rabbit hole is Bob Proctor was in The Secret movie or documentary, or whatever they call it, that came out, I think, in 2006, produced and financed on debt by Rhonda Byrne, who now is also a multimillionaire. But I watched that, and then I started getting, what do you call those, recommendations on YouTube, where Rhonda is now interviewing because she's got a new book out. She kind of laid low for probably 15 years. Well, it's almost 20 years, I guess, since The Secret came out. But over that time, she's applied the principles of The Secret, which is about the law of attraction. And Bob Proctor mentioned that in one of his videos and said, people come up to me and think I wrote The Secret, think I made The Secret, but I was just somebody that was asked to be in it. And it's okay, but most people get it wrong because they really don't know how to apply the law of attraction. He said that's a secondary law. The higher law is the law of frequency, and all his stuff is about getting on the frequency mentally of what you want, which is kind of another step deeper or higher, whatever you want to say, about the law of attraction. So I've been studying all this kind of stuff, and then I really started Rhonda's new book. The Greatest Secret is on Hoopla, but the original book, The Secret, is not. So I've been listening to The Greatest Secret, and now on about the fourth time through it, I'm hearing lots of things I didn't hear the first few times. Let me mention something that I think it was Napoleon Hill said in Think and Grow Rich. He said, somebody mentioned if you can't figure out the answer, we'll use this picnic table here as an example. You put it in the center, whatever your notes are, or your problem is, and then you go sit on the other side and look at it. Then you sit here and look at it, and there's a theory that if you change your perspective, you change what you see. And I don't think that's a theory, I think that's a reality. Me looking at the camera from here is a whole lot different than in the shade over there. So basically and you can even be a different person at the different site. You can think of what would Thomas Edison say from this position? What would Abraham Lincoln say from this position? What would Alexander Graham Bell say about this problem from this position. So he's talking about getting on the frequency of the basically what you want, but in this case I'm talking about the problem. And then you see it differently. So one chapter in The Greatest Secret is about happiness. Another one's about awareness. Well, I think the whole book is about awareness, but as I listen to it over and over and over, I'm kind of zeroing in on the happiness thing, and I'm really getting into it, and then a resistance or a thought popped into my mind, which she really differentiates between the mind, the ego. The mind and the ego are like one part, your spirit, your physical body and your spiritual body. Then I realized it was basically New Age theology or philosophy or whatever it is, which I'm not saying is wrong, but coming from a Christian perspective, it does have a few things that I don't completely agree with at this point, but I can take what's good in the book and apply that to moving forward. And I think the biggest change I've made over the last 3 months is not getting close to my healthy weight. It's how I think about things. My perspective has changed. I don't know that my personality has really changed, but the thing I'm not going to say the goal for Q1 has really changed. That has to get this YouTube channel, or one of them, or both of them, probably both of them, monetized, and get a lot. And apparently YouTube is helping small channels in 2025, so I expect phenomenal growth. So as Rhonda Byrne says in The Greatest Secret, you can manifest things. As the law of attraction, I can pull in the subscribers. So I'm trying to get on your wavelength so you'll push that subscribe button and we'll all be happy. But on the chapter of happiness, I had to turn it off and say, what does make me happy? When have I been the happiest? And I really had a hard time figuring that out. And I was talking to the consultant last night. I said, maybe I'm always happy. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what not being happy is, so I'm kind of skewed. I'm going to say that anyway. I don't know that that's true. I have my moments when I would say I'm not happy. Or when I've had financial troubles, I wouldn't say I was happy. But when you concentrate on the bad, you get more of the bad. When you concentrate on the good, you get more of the good. So I'm going to concentrate on being happy. I'm going to try to figure out what makes me happy. And I think mentoring, educating, helping people is what makes me happy. And I'm hoping that these channels will do just that. I might actually launch some kind of a coaching program. I know I told you I'd do that in 2024, but then I found the How to Carnivore program, which if you just want to learn information on carnivore, use my referral link in the description. That is probably the best program out there for how to carnivore, or how to learn how to carnivore. So I don't need, I really don't think I have to redo what's already out there, especially if I can benefit or join in there and kind of coach you in that program. But I'm talking about more like the people I've met at these recent jobs that are making $20, $30 an hour and having to live with family because they can't pay their bills. Their checkbook is at deficit. People say the dumbest things to people they don't even know. So I would like, to help some of those people get their footing stabilized. But how have I changed? Well, I'm looking into me more. I'm more concerned about personal happiness and your happiness than I was. And I'm trying to be more of an empathetic and caring person. What does that have to do with getting to my ideal weight? It doesn't. It has to do with overall health and how I'm looking at my overall health it's not really an impossible goal because I know I can get it. I chose a weight loss as my impossible goal because I haven't been able to do it for 4 months. And I've been on this YouTube channel for 4 years, and 4 years is about the time they really take off, so I'm excited about that. And I know that if I concentrate on it, which might just be one video a week, it looks like I'm going back to work full time. In fact, tomorrow, I mentioned I have an interview tomorrow. That would be I think it would be 12 hours overnight. I don't know if it's 1 day, 2 days in a row, 5 days in a row, whatever. I'll let you know when I know, but I'm hoping it'll be something consistent and it pays pretty good, well, that I'll be able to afford to continue to do this without it producing an income. So I think really what has changed is how I look at things, what I'm more dedicated to, and how I intend to move forward. You know, I'd kind of thought a job wouldn't be in the future, but I was on their website the other day and they actually have a pension. That might be good because it's not a government agency, so the government offset rule would not deduct from my Social Security. I'm pretty sure they pay into Social Security also, so that a lot of the jobs in Virginia have done that. That's why I have Social Security. I'm pretty sure the state parks had a pension. I just didn't stay long enough to earn it. The town of Farmville probably had a pension. I just didn't stay long enough to earn it. And the jobs I did in Texas really didn't have pensions or retirement plans. They were just kind of almost treated like a contractor. So if it does have a pension and I need to be there 5 or 7 years, I probably should stay that long. I'm young enough I can do that and build this on the side. But what makes me happy, you know, when the consultant said last night, just imagine if you have $2 million, what we do outside, probably be living on a cruise ship at least part of the year. And I got thinking, well, I could live on a cruise ship a month. I could go to one of the timeshare things I rent for a month. I could go back to a cruise ship for a month. I could always be in a warm spot. I mean, I'm very happy today at 60 degrees. It's snowed on Sunday, rained on Monday. Tuesday, it's 60 degrees here. Wilmington, 76, so I'll be there in a couple of weeks, right after Christmas. I'm looking forward to that. I will be nice and tan, walking them dogs. And then I could, if I had $2 million, I could live wherever I wanted, do whatever I want. I could probably not work full-time. I could probably not work full-time now, but I'm choosing to because I kind of like working, but I would really like to get this done. So maybe that tells you what has changed. Maybe I'm not real clear on it, but I have ordered people, hey puppy, there's a golden walking by. I have ordered people products from The Secret for their Christmas gift, so I may have to put a disclaimer on it. Don't go too deep into this new age stuff, but choose what's good for you out of it. And I think that's maybe what I'm learning, is that everything has good in it, everything has some disagreeable. Take the good and run with it. Be happy, don't judge people. Enjoy life and do what's best for you. God bless. Thank you. Bye-bye. Let's see if I can cut this off. I guess I'm supposed to do this.